What's up, guys, and welcome to the 5th ever episode of On the Fly. I am your host, Katie DeFeo. Let's get into it. This past weekend, we had tons of action in collegiate women's lacrosse. On our Pros plus KT pick'em last week, I went 2 for 4. Not great, if we're being honest. First, I'm going to start with one of my L's. Louisville and Virginia Tech. I thought that Louisville may have been frauds, but they're not frauds. They're a very good team. They've had a great season. They've had a couple close losses, a couple big wins. I went with Virginia Tech because I have a lot of confidence in the Hokies, but Louisville, not frauds. Louisville is a good lacrosse team. They beat Virginia Tech 13-9. I was shocked, but gotta give Louisville their respect. That was my first L. Next, we move out west for some Pac-12 action. Arizona State, America's team. I spent like 10 minutes in the last episode gassing them up. So excited about Arizona State. ASU, they're playing Colorado. It's simple mathematics. I was thinking Arizona State beat USC. USC beat Colorado. So the transitive property, Arizona State is better than Colorado. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Colorado snuck away with a win in this weekend's Pac-12 action. So 0 for 2 so far. Let's pick up some steam. Let's move into a couple dubs. Boston College versus Duke. Now, after Rachel Hall and Charlotte North came on my show, I'm never ever picking against BC ever again. They were playing Duke, Charlotte's old team where she transferred from. I figured she was due for a big day. That is exactly what happened. Literally, could not have planned it any better. Charlotte went off. I'm genuinely concerned. I don't know how she does these things. It's ridiculous, some of these goals. It must have felt good for her to have a big day against her old team. BC, 17-15. Close matchup, got it done in the end. Now, we move to the biggest matchup of the year. Number 1 versus number 2. North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Syracuse Orange. This was a big game for a plethora of reasons. North Carolina has a lot of hype this year. We've heard about how good they are all season long. So does Syracuse. They are a good team. Everybody knows that. That's why they're the number 2 team in the country. So honestly, it was a coin flip going into this game. North Carolina beat the second best team in the country behind them by 11. They are special. They are elite. They may have never seen a team like this. They're going to steamroll everybody. Give them the crown. Crown them the champion. Enough of me talking about this. Who cares what I have to say? Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, hailing from Long Island, New York, the Yellowjackets. 2 of North Carolina's 5th-year seniors, Katie Hoeg and Kerrigan Miller. Kerrigan Miller, Katie Hoeg, welcome to the show. Katie, so last year, UNC obviously really good. You guys are always good. And then, season, Coco shuts it all down. And then you get a text, I'm assuming, or a FaceTime. Kerrigan Miller from Yellowjackets wants to come join the team. What was your first reaction?
Well, I was actually talking to Kerrigan kind of behind the scenes, I would say, because she was talking about like maybe coming to UNC, and as soon as she kind of put that idea out there, I didn't really let it go, and I was like, this is going to happen. Like, I'm going to make this happen. I felt like I was kind of her like sports agent, honestly. And I once she said it, I was like just picturing like if we were able to play together again, like that would just be such an incredible experience. So then from then on, I was kind of like helped her like talk to Jenny, even though she knows Jenny through US and everything. But I was kind of like her cheerleader from the sideline. I felt like I had this like secret that I knew, and it was like hard to keep. But then when she finally made her decision, I was like over the moon.
You guys played Yellowjackets together, as I mentioned before. Best club team in America. No, it's not a secret. My tweet about Yellowjackets went viral. I was expecting it to go viral.
Can we roll the tweet right now?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll the tweet on the screen. Obviously, I think it goes without saying your Yellowjackets team was probably pretty good. What was the biggest margin of victory in a Yellowjackets game, if you remember? What was the most you beat a team by? Like, did you have to stop at 20, or was it like, everybody gets reps? Like, well, how did that work?
Well, we were like, we were young kids even when we started. Like, obviously you add certain people, and we joined the team late. Played on South Bay together.
And 6th grade. This is 6th grade. We were late. Late to the party.
Yeah, late to the party in 6th grade. And these girls they're like, we come onto the team, they got like 20 plays. They got like quarterback things on them. We're like, what's going on?
We're like 11 years old.
That's when my dad was like, all right, you might need to start using your left hand a little bit more. I was like, okay. But if we were up by a lot, we would like pump the brakes.
I asked because I remember I had one time played your worst team in the grade below me. And I think we lost by 20. So that's why I was asking. The worst team, the F team in the grade below me. Played Syracuse last weekend. That was the big game. That was like the test. Even though you guys had been tested in like one big games before the season, that was kind of like the one. Syracuse is really hot too. So Kerrigan, what was that like to get that signature win against, number 2?
Just a sick experience. Like, I think I was having like certain points of the game, it was like kind of like an out of body experience, and that's like a little dramatic. But for real, like at USC we had never played Syracuse or like any of these top 5 teams just because they just never lined up, with their schedule. So it was cool. And there was a lot of people in the stands. My dad was there, my boyfriend was there. Like, it was just a really cool experience. And then like, even like at the beginning of the game, we were down, and we all kind of like looking around at each other, but like everyone still has the confidence in our team, which I think is sick, So then shortly, like right after that, we start climbing back, and like gain momentum to have like an awesome game. So like just experiencing all of that, and like being a part of it was like just kind of sick. I've never obviously been a part of like
beating Syracuse.
Right. That was up there.
And then Katie, you guys, okay, you're number 1, you beat number 2 by a lot. What's the messaging from you guys, senior leaders, 5th years, grandmas, kind of like, let the team know that we can't take this win for granted. We, as if I'm on the team. we, you guys can't take it for granted. You got to push forward. So how do you come off that high? And what are kind of the, what's the vibes in the locker room right now to kind of keep it pushing forward?
Yeah, I mean, well, we definitely get humbled every time we come to practice on Tuesday. It's always like our hardest practice. But then again, like we come and we compete against like an amazing defense, like offensively. We're up against like one of the best man-to-man defenses and goalie in the country. So we're like, all right, we still got a lot of work to do. But we know that the game really has no memory and like each opponent is different and special. So like we have Notre Dame this weekend and we're like, it doesn't matter. Notre Dame doesn't care that we went and beat Hughes this weekend.
And they want to beat you really bad because you guys are like top dog.
Exactly. If anything, that makes the target on our back, it's even larger. So I think, each week on practice, like we focus on ourselves. How can we get better this week? And like we celebrate the wins in the moment, but we move on from it and are like, that was great. But we also, we looked at film and we were like, wow, we still could have done things a lot better.
Thank you, Katie and Kerrigan, for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate it. Now, this coming weekend, there's one game that I want you all to watch. As I was just talking about with Katie and Kerrigan, UNC is playing Notre Dame this weekend. Notre Dame is a battle-tested team. Notre Dame went up to Syracuse, lost to them twice in one weekend, but held their own. Notre Dame is not to be pushed around. They don't care that UNC is the best team in the country. They don't care that they just beat Syracuse by 11. They are going to be ready for a fight. But my prediction is that UNC wins. I think UNC might 10-piece them. I would not be surprised if UNC won by 15. That's how good they are. That's what we're dealing with. It's absolutely unbelievable. I can't even imagine being on that team, how sick it would be. I would pay money to ride the bench on that team. I would pay real money, real grown adult money to ride the bench. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you comment down below what you want to see in next week's episode. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you get your Unleashed merch in the description. I will see you guys next week.